As far as the election itself, listen, there are a lot of people like me who don't trust the system, especially after 2020. And I know Lara Trump and the RNC you guys have done a lot of things to try to combat some of the cheating that many people believe took place in 2020, from hundreds of thousands of extra volunteers at polling places to 500 attorneys stationed at polling places across the country. You're doing what you can. As a voter, you tell me, why should I have faith in this system this time around?
Well, look, we should have enormous amounts of trepidation in the system, to be very honest with you. We saw what took place. I was in Philadelphia the day after the 2020 election, where I watched them separate the ballots from the envelope so that you could never question who actually voted. I had a judge's order in my hand that gave me permission to go into the Philadelphia Convention Center. And the Philadelphia sheriffs told me if I crossed through the magnetometers, I'd spend 3 days in a Philadelphia prison, which I chose not to, because jail's not really fun, by the way, in case anyone was wondering. Okay. So, I think here's what it is. There's only so much you can do. And you have to rely on the integrity of the system, which means every person who goes there has to make sure that what they're witnessing is honest and has integrity to it. When I go to my local polling location in New Hampshire, where I live, I show them my identification. They make me prove to the street I live on, and then they hand me my ballot. It should not be, it's not racist. It's not misogynistic. It's not bigotry to ask a person for their identification to vote in an election. And this notion that now in some states, like Massachusetts, where they give driver's licenses to people who are not legal, that they can then use those to vote in a federal election, should be absolutely wrong. It's against the law. And we have to make sure, and look, I don't think Donald Trump realistically thinks he's going to be winning Massachusetts. I'm not saying that, but across the board, it's not just relying on the RNC and the 500 attorneys and the thousands of volunteers. It's every person in this country should care that only legal citizens are allowed to vote and that each person only gets one vote. And if we don't do that, that's what our entire republic is based on.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I don't even think that there should be early voting. I think it's absentee for the traditional reasons, military, et cetera. If you want to make it a national holiday and to make sure that, everybody can indeed and doesn't have to leave work, I think that that's one of the biggest problems, is the ability to go early and then in some cases early and often. As far as the RNC, the convention coming up at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, 50,000 plus people.